What's going on, y'all? We're back for another book review on the channel. And quick apologies if I sound nasally or if I sound like I got something in my throat, if I'm clearing my voice throughout this video. Currently on the tail end of a bout with good old COVID. So, like I said, I'm struggling through on that one. So, if you hear me hacking and stuff, apologies. But, like I said, we're back for another book review on the channel, and today we got a fun, lighthearted read for the fantasy genre, and that is Nicholas Ames' Kings of the Wyld. Now, this book, like I said, is very fun, very lighthearted, and it's got a lot of pros. There's a couple cons to it, but like I said, we'll get more on that in just a little bit. So for a general overview of the plot, kind of what you're diving into is this is set in a world where mercenaries run in bands, which is, is a pretty classic like fantasy genre trope of bands of mercenaries, but it's a play on that because these people are treated like rock stars. They have someone who is like a deal broker for them, essentially gets them their jobs and stuff, and they're kind of these rock stars who are glorified and stories are told about, and that's how they kind of get treated and vilified. And we're following a troop of mercenaries who they were the big dogs at one point. Then they go by the name of Saga, but they've had their fall from grace. Times have changed. They're all older, fat drunkards. Like their time in the spotlight's kind of faded, and we're following our main character Clay Cooper, and he's going about his life trying to just get by as a worker for like the guards in this town. And one of his bandmates, Gabriel, comes to him with a plea for help. So don't want to tell you because that's kind of what sets the whole journey off, but it sets him off on the journey to get the band back together and sets them out on a direct line for the narrative that they're going to be pursuing throughout the story. So like I said, very direct, that's plot driven with, some nice lighthearted fantasy fun. But like I said, this is kind of heavier, a lot of violence, a lot of dark themes. It's not grim dark per se, like there's not these it's not like brutal to the characters, but it's very aggressive, a lot of fighting, a lot of just general violent themes in general. But like I said, it's at the same time doing that, it's lighthearted, it's fun. There's a lot of comedy that made me chuckle as I went through reading it, which is always fun in a book that kind of laughs and tugs on those good heartstrings for you. But like I said, it does have its downfalls. The biggest one is that this is not a book that you're going to want to read if you're looking for something where the stakes are high. There's times in it, and what I mean by that is like books where the characters are always going to win. Characters don't lose in this book. They always win. And even when things should not be going their way, something happens that frees them up. And there's one instance in it, a lot of things I can forgive. There's one instance in it where the stakes, I was like, okay, I finally felt like the stakes were good, the stakes are high, and this has happened, all right, here we go. And it's immediately bailed out. And that really kind of hurt me reading it. It kind of pulled me out when it happened, because I was like, okay, I just got to set this down for a little while. So that was kind of unfortunate to have that one big stumble, at least in my opinion. And that one kind of hurt. But it's not something that kept me from enjoying the book. Like I said, this is something I found just a good, fun, lighthearted. I didn't feel overwhelmed by the world. It felt easy to digest. There's a lot of rich history in it, a lot of interesting things that I have not seen in my short time reading fantasy. So a lot of neat ideas about just your general world building. Like I said, I love the whole play on how mercenaries are these rock stars and how things are changed. They're not like they used to be back when Saga was big, and you got this new generation who doesn't even know what it's like to fight out in the Heartwild. And just the relationship between the guys and kind of seeing where they went after Saga is fun because they're all so different. They're not super deep characters, but you can definitely feel the connection that they have when they're talking to each other. Like, I don't think that as characters they're super deep and super like engrossing characters, but they're definitely going to tug at your heartstrings from time to time just because you can tell there's a lot of love between them and they're well written in that regard, just as a group. And like I said, the whole crew is just a whole lot of fun to read about because each character, especially in that main group of Saga, is quite interesting. A lot of fun side characters that you're going to read about, and just generally a fun, lighthearted read. If you're looking for something that's not going to overwhelm you with details and all these super important world building facts, that just feels like icing on the cake to me. Like there is stuff in here that I think is nice little world building elements, but it's not a requirement. You can read this and it has that direct plot, progresses straight through, and it's pretty linear. There's not a lot of bouncing around and all these like other important things that you need to think about and know. No, it's pretty plot driven, which is nice. It takes a lot of weight off of you as a reader because you don't have to remember everything. You don't have to learn all these things. So, like I said, that's what I got for you guys. I had a great time reading this. I recommend everyone check it out. And I might continue with the series because I believe that there are at least one, maybe two more of these books. I didn't look too much into it, but I'm excited to see what Nicholas Ames does from here, and he's a writer that I'll definitely be checking out in the future. So, like I said, check Kings of the Wyld out. This gets a big thumbs up from me. Fun, but if you're looking for something that's got stakes, it may not be for you. But that's all I got for you today. And let me know what you guys are reading. Have you read it? Have you checked it out? Do you want to check it out now? But if so, until next time, stay reading, y'all, and see ya.